great opportunity, but it's also a challenge because, as you say, people identify the brand not with the premium segment, which is huge. It's about 67% of the global market. We were providing that data last year, year too, so the market is huge. And it makes sense that it's a reliable brand that is offering you that quality experience with a professional service. So you're creating that unique platform that makes a lot of sense. It's very consistent, very good, especially for short-term rental, which is not a platform like that, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge that we have is on the hotel side. We have a brand. I think there's 30 plus brands on the hotel side now. So we have a brand for every segment, and there's very clear positioning for each brand. With Homes and Villas, we have one brand that's covering multiple segments. So I think sort of that's the work that we have to do to sort of get the message out to consumers and property managers that actually we play in multiple parts of the space, not just the top end.
We didn't discuss about that, like Europe. If you look at Europe, how are you looking at the European market? You have a vision like is Spain playing a role? Is the Mediterranean countries where the supply is, or how is Europe looking?
Yeah, so Spain is an incredibly important market to us. We have about 8,500 properties so far across Spain. We're looking at more areas to grow, and I was talking to Lourdes and our team earlier, and there's some practical stuff like we have a lot of homes in San Sebastian, but not a lot in Bilbao. And you might get people who will travel to both locations. So we need to start thinking smarter about travel patterns. If you're going to fly in from the US to visit Spain, where do you want to travel? You might want to go to Granada, but only for 2 nights, and then you might want to come to Costa del Sol for 5. So we need to make sure that we have product that we can sort of fulfill the travel journey.
So you still see an opportunity for growth in Spain?
Absolutely. I think Spain, our top markets are UK, Spain, France, and Italy from a European perspective.
Okay.
And yes, still lots of opportunity to grow that. We're still extremely small because of the way that we grow. So we only grow with the right partners and then the comes from those partners. So actually, our growth potential is pretty high.
The data we presented that tomorrow from Eurostat is like the markets of France, Spain, Italy, and then Croatia. Those are like the top in terms of reservation through online platforms. So that's going to be playing a massive role. When you mentioned some figures about the conversion in the Bonvoy platform, like how many Bonvoy members are going to short-term rental. When did you start the program? How is that conversion growing?
Yeah, so you've seen conversion grow massively from day one to where we are now.
And it's how many years?
It's 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. And I think conversion's a combination of a couple of things. One is we've got more supply on the platforms. We know that when we put the right level of supply in a market, it increases conversion. Because we all know if you have, 500 homes in a market, by the time you want a 3-bedroom with a balcony, and you have some other requirements, air conditioning, whatever it is, those 500 with availability quickly turn into a choice of 5, right? Which then reduces your conversion. So we've got to get supply right for each market, which kind of drives conversion. The other thing is the platform is working better than it ever has. So the technical ability of the platform to convert is much higher than it has been. And then our marketing efforts are more because you've got to bring the right qualified traffic to the site. Because if you don't bring qualified traffic, then it's not going to convert. So I think it's those 3 things: qualified audience, more supply, and better technical features on the site that could have really helped us improve our conversion.
Going back to the AI, how intelligent it is? Like, how do you think it's from this year as well? Like, it's pretty recent as well.
Yeah, it's something that's about a month old. Yeah.
And then you're already getting conversion through the AI. So just try the search, just mention like, hey, I'd like to go to Costa del Sol, and I'm looking for a 3-bedroom villa with a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And then
it'll bring it all up for you. Or you just say, I want to go to a certain location, I want to be near the water. And it might show you a lake, it could show you the beach, it could show you. So it's really smart. There's more work we want to do on it to get it smarter, and it's one of these things that we launched it a month ago, and it will get better and better as we kind of evolve. But there's a couple of other things it does. So it brings you the search results. and then it also gives you more information on the destination, like the weather at the time of year that you search for, things that you should do. It will give you an overview of why that destination has been chosen for you. So it'll say, this whole town has been selected because if you put in the search terms that you wanted cobbled streets, it'll explain why it chose that destination and which streets you might want to explore. So we're trying to kind of make the search experience richer and sort of build more content in that. But yeah, please have a go and let us know what you think. Grab us and tell us if it's good and did it give you what you wanted or did it not.
Another pragmatic question for property managers: how easy it is to if you're a property manager and you get that premium product or portfolio, is that difficult process? Can they just contact Marriott and say like, hey, I want this portfolio? Is there a quality check? What's the procedure?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of, there's two types of, due diligence that we go through. So the first one is with the property managers. We want to understand from a property management perspective how you run your business. Like, how do you collect your taxes? How do you pay your taxes? What are the regulations in your market? How do you adhere to those regulations? We want to understand a bit about your operations. When things go wrong, how do you solve these problems? And so we do some financial checks. So we want to make sure we work with companies that are stable financially. So we do those checks in a home management company. And then the second thing we do is look at every individual home. And on average, we sort of accept about 60% of the property manager's inventory.
Okay.
Sometimes it's 100% because the property manager is amazing and it's like they only work with a certain category of homes. And sometimes it's only 20%, but on average we're about 60%. And then the whole process from start to finish takes 6 to 8 weeks approximately.
And there's not like an exclusive local partner. You can just have different local partners.
Yeah, so no, we don't ask for exclusivity. So we work with like multiple partners in an area, and yeah, we're more than open from that point of view. The most important thing to us is that we have good partners and good products.
Somehow you becoming that like a certificate also for these property managers because you created that audit and that makes sense.
Yeah, we find a lot of property managers say that once they've been through our process, it helps them with other things. So, for example, homeowner acquisition. Homeowners generally like Marriott guests because they're good guests. So if you're trying to win a homeowner to your property management company, and you say, look, I'm one of 3 companies in this market that works with Marriott, it can help sway that decision. Sometimes companies are looking for investment, and it can help on that side because you know that the company's been through a process with Marriott. So I think there's sort of other benefits in addition to just the revenue from the rental that we try and bring.
But that's amazing because it's a platform that is actually adding a lot of value to the market. Because it's creating that, reducing that friction with the guests, and creating that experience is quite a unique. That's impressive. And it's important that the people know that like property managers they get on board and they understand. If you're a property manager, who do you talk to? Do they have? Because I like this talks also to be pragmatic. Do they have an account manager? This person obviously they interact with. Because I know, but obviously some people don't know.
Yeah.
That they've got a companion, let's say, and a professional person there that's behind supporting the property managers.
Yeah, exactly. So we have 3 teams within the agency or the property manager facing side. So we've got a business development team that stay with the property manager through onboarding and then the first for 1 month after launch. We have a connectivity team that are there to help with any connectivity issues that I know we all face. I'd love to think that connectivity was perfect, but it's not. So we have a team focused on connectivity. And then we have an account management team. And the level of interaction that a property manager gets with our account management team depends on the revenue that's being currently generated, but also the revenue potential. So we don't just look at what revenues come in a certain quarter. We think, oh, actually, this property manager's got good growth plans, they're acquiring other property management companies, and then we adjust the level of support based on those things.
We had a pretty good 2023, we can say. What are the prospects you would say for 2024, and what are your coming plans for the coming years?
We're lucky. I think everybody who started a new business kind of knows that your first few years, you can grow pretty exponentially, right? Because you're in those kind of early stages. So if you look at the hotel business, I mean, that's still growing crazy levels. It's 90 years old and it's still growing. But actually, sort of when you look at the level of growth that we have in 5 years, it's significantly higher, just because we are kind of newer in the market. So we have to keep managing expectations around, you don't get years 5 and year 10 and 15, right? So things will kind of adapt. But so far this year, it's been our strongest quarter ever. We've got a great promotion out in the market at the moment, which is guests get 50,000 Bonvoy points if they book a reservation through the platform. And for 50,000 points, you could get sort of 1, 2, 3 nights in a hotel or in a home rental. So it's a really aggressive offer. It's our biggest ever offer, actually. So and that's performing really well so far.
That's amazing. So you're going to create loyalty from the guests and from the partners point of view. I think that's pretty much, we covered pretty much everything that we said. We discussed. I have just one last question. What are the challenges in general for the short-term rental? Just what's your vision as a professional in the short-term rental? What would be your advice? Like, this is what we need to do as an industry.
So I still think there's more to do around, I mean, sometimes like I have great rental experiences, and I'm not saying this because we're talking to each other, but I'm staying in one of your apartments right now, and thank you to the team because it's been absolutely amazing, right? Like pre-arrival communication's perfect. I get to the property, the entry code works. That doesn't always happen, right? Sometimes you can't get into the property. All the amenities were in there, like a welcome amenity, all that sort of stuff. So I think there are property managers that are doing this end-to-end experience incredibly well, but that's not the case kind of across the board. So I still think there's more work to do for consistency, operational performance, service recovery. I think 24/7 support is a real challenge, and I know there's some companies out there that are now offering 24/7 support to help property managers. I think that's really important because things do go wrong in the middle of the night, right? And guests need support. So I think 24/7 support is an area that we can still kind of work on. I think still things like consistency and quality of linens and things like this. I think there's potentially kind of more work to do there. We're seeing a lot of consolidation, so particularly in the US, there's a lot of property managers being bought by bigger companies. So that's kind of interesting for channels, right? Because you might have contracted with a company that then gets acquired through another company. So you have to kind of move things around and kind of flex from that perspective.
That's going to create brands as well. What you're saying, it's creating also brands, operation brands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and actually, we like that. We want property managers to have their own brand, and when a guest books through our platform, we introduce the property manager straight away, and we show the property manager's branding, and we let the property manager talk to the guests because they're the best person to do that. We're not going to organize a pre-arrival or a transfer from the airport, right? So we show the brand and we put the guests in touch. So we really want strong brand in this space.
Yeah. So consolidation, consistency, professionalization, we could say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We're also seeing lots of changes as well now on the technology side. So kind of lots of acquisitions on the technology side, and I think I expect that will continue as well.
Is there a minimum limit for property managers to get on board?
So we have different limits based on kind of each market. So for example, a market that books really well and has a really high booking rate. So I'll give an example.
Travelthink is a non-profit initiative launched and managed by Dr. Gonzalez-Soria in 2006, focused on new trends, innovation and startups in the travel tech space. Thousands of professionals received the Travelthink news where travel top leaders and entrepreneurs shared their insights and reflections.